Hello out there. My name's David Horton, and I'm proud to be one of the pastors at St. Luke's Methodist here in Houston. Thanks for joining me today. And here's my question for you. What about the children? What are the children seeing these days? What are they seeing in us? What are they learning from us? What are we modeling for them? What about the children? Our country is so divided. After the election, it seems like we're being pulled apart at the seams, even more so than we were on November the 2nd. And the pandemic is not making things any easier. We're stressed, we're afraid, we're confused, and it's bringing out our demons. And we're forgetting that love part of speak the truth in love. You really need both, speak the truth and in love. And our children see it all. They're growing up on social media. That's what this generation is. They've never known a world without social media. And they soak it all up. Every post, every comment. They're like sponges. Our children are so smart. Well, what are we leaving for them to soak up? Jesus tells this parable in Matthew 25. It's about a very wealthy man who goes on a long journey, and he leaves at least a portion of his wealth in the hands of three investors. We'd call them like investment bankers. He leaves them a series of talents, which was a unit of money, and he leaves the equivalent of like a few millions of dollars with these guys. And two of these investment traders, they double his money. But the third one, if you know the story, he leaves one talent with this guy, the equivalent of $900,000 in our modern American money. And this third investment banker, he doesn't do anything with this wealth. He literally digs a hole in the ground and buries it. It's the equivalent of like stuffing your cash in your mattress because your money's going to be safe. It won't shrink, but it won't grow either. Here's what he has to say to the wealthy man when the wealthy man comes back for his money. He says, I was afraid. This is Matthew 25:25. I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent, again about 900 grand in our money, in the ground. Here you have what is yours. He was only thinking about his safety in the present. Here's the thing. He wasn't thinking about growth in the future. He wasn't thinking about what his present actions will do for impact in the future. In a way, we're all investment agents when you think that our children are the capital that we have to work with. We're all investing things in our children, and it will all pay off dividends in one way or another in our kids. 10 years from now, will our children be kinder? 10 years from now, will our children be more prayerful? Will they be braver? Will they have a stronger faith? Will they look more like Jesus than we did? See, it's us grown-ups who will reap what we sow from our children years and years from now based on what we sow in them today. Are we hiding in them the ugliness of our grown-up problems? Or are we scattering seeds of goodness and compassion and kindness in them? And that's the kind of fruit we'll see 10 years from now. My wife, Brandy, she's also a Methodist pastor, and she was just appointed to a new church. And she started on November the 1st as the senior pastor of Cypress Trails UMC in Spring, Texas. I'm so proud of her. It's a great fit, great church, and they're getting the best pastor. Well, last week she received these flowers from some of her, from some retired clergy women in our annual conference, this jurisdiction of the Methodist Church. These women were trailblazers back in the day. These were some of the first women clergy in the Methodist Church. These were the first women pastors that their churches ever had or had ever seen. In fact, one of these women became one of the first female bishops in the United Methodist Church. And the card that came with these flowers was this: congratulations, we are so proud of you and happy for Cypress Trails. Your older sisters, Karen, Sandra, Gail, Carol, and Bishop Ann. I love that story because it's an example of the former generation sowing seeds in the current generation. And that current generation will one day, at least God willing, sow seeds in the next generation. See, the current generation will either make the world more like God's kingdom or less. Which will it be? More like God's kingdom or less? The cause of that is in large part due to what we are sowing in them. So what we do with this moment in our culture matters, because our children, like the very soil itself, soaks up whatever we're putting in and will bear fruit based on the seeds we put in. Something to think about. God bless you.